Boxing King Media, powered by BYD. Delighted to be joined by Mr. Russ Anber, all the way here in London. Last time we met, it was like 40 odd degrees. It was a nice evening. And you brought the sunshine with you wherever you've come from, Canada.
Yeah, Canada on this one. Yeah, that was a hot night, but what a great night before. That was the best.
We've gone from winning undisputed to seeing you pop up here. Like I said to you earlier, I was thinking, what's Russ Anber doing here? I was trying to figure it out, and you said, obviously, I'll let you tell us why you're here.
Yeah, I was kindly asked by Derek if I would wrap his hands and work the corner, and of course I said yes. Any chance to come to the UK is always great. So I worked with Derek when he fought Joseph Parker, the first fight, because Buddy McGirt was training him at that time. So I was brought in, and then he asked me to come do this one. So I can't say no to Derek.
And again, has been one of the leading hand wrappers in the boxing game. It's obviously amazing for you to be part of such a fight. And like Derek said earlier today, this is going to be his last fight at the O2 Arena. So you must feel quite humbled by the fact that he's chosen you to be part of his team.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it's nice that he enjoyed the first time we worked together for him to bring me back again. Otherwise he wouldn't have. So if you get a blessing from someone like Derek, it's always nice. You always want to make sure you leave with a good impression and that they're happy. So I'm glad I'm back.
Well, the first time was so nice. He did it. He had to do it twice, in the words of Anthony Joshua.
Yeah, that's right.
So let's talk a little bit about this fight. I didn't know who Derek was being trained by. I know you've confirmed he's going to be trained by Alexis, who also trains KSI. Have you and Alexis worked together before?
No, never worked with him. And as a matter of fact, just met him the other day at the gym. We're doing final prep, and I wrapped Derek's hands before the fight, so I just got to meet him then. So no, I haven't worked with him before, but I don't expect it should be a problem. I got my job to do, and he has his.
What do you make of Derek, picking a trainer that, like, say, boxing fans who obviously don't want to influence the game may not be aware? What do you make of that?
I don't know, Umar. I can't speak. You're asking me to talk about something I don't know about. I don't know what the dynamic is behind that. So that's probably a question for Derek as to why he made that choice and why he chose Alex. I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, I've been to Alex's gym. He's a great human being for a start. I just want to get like a boxing insight from you. Because you've worked with so many coaches from all levels. Just curious to know from your input, what did you see that Derek's learning with Alexis?
It wasn't really a training session. It was kind of just a shakeout. There wasn't really anything I could see. I think the whole objective was to allow me to go and wrap his hands, and then they put the gloves on to make sure they fit with my wrap on the gloves he's wearing, and then hit a little bit of pads just to make sure that they feel okay. That's what I saw. So I can't. You're asking me to comment on something I don't know.
No problem. And just regards to Derek as a fighter, when this fight got announced initially, people were saying, "Oh, it shouldn't be happening. It's a mismatch." But in recent times, a lot of people are picking Derek to win on Saturday night. I spoke to Usyk yesterday, and he said to me that Derek was the heaviest puncher he's faced, and he said JOYCE was the easiest fight he's had from all the British opponents he's fought.
Interesting perspective. The one thing that I take from a Derek Chisora, and I think a lot of fighters should embody this, and I believe this sincerely, he's the proof that you don't have to have a virgin record to be a star. And it's okay when you step up and take a loss, because it's not the loss that counts, it's how you fought that brings you back. And I'll give you a more recent even proof of that is Steve Claggett just lost to Teofimo Lopez. I guarantee you that on any network, on any streaming, for any opponent, if Steve Claggett was the opponent to say we're having him against such and such a guy, a young, they would take him immediately, not because he lost, but because of the way he fought. And I think Derek Chisora is proof of that after all these years, despite having the losses that he has suffered, he's still able to command the respect, the dollars, and still be top of the bill despite that. And I think fighters need to realize that it's not if you're winning, it's how you're winning, and it's not if you lose, it's how you lose. And I believe that firmly.
That's quite nicely put there. And talking of that, how do you kind of see Derek winning this fight? What do you think he needs to do?
Well, there's no doubt he needs to stay away. He can't be standing and letting, a big guy like Joe Joyce thump on his head for 10 rounds. We can't have that. Yeah, he's a big dude. Juggernaut is a good name for him. So obviously you can't do that. I think we have to take advantage of the pressure that Derek could put on. I think we could take advantage of hitting Joe and not getting hit. If that could happen, and I know that sounds, the pattern from many boxing matches, hit the guy and don't get hit. But I think it definitely applies here. We can't turn this into a you hit me and I hit you type of fight. Although that would be exciting for the fans, it's not going to be a healthy for either guy, And if you want to win, I think you have to avoid the other guy's power because both guys are good punchers.
Well, he's hinted it a few times in the build-up to this fight that he may come out of southpaw. I think I've seen him go southpaw against somebody in the past, but I can't remember who now. But what do you make of that if he does do that?
Again, that's something that, for me to offer comment on that, I want to see it in the gym. I want to see how effective he is with it. You can say that you come out southpaw, but if you're not good at it, it's not going to be good. If you are good at it, it could be a great advantage. I'll always remember what Sugar Ray Leonard told me. Many times I've spent time with Ray, we've become friends, and he always told me that when Hagler came out orthodox, which is actually, when you think about it, insane because you're taking away your greatest advantage of being a naturally hard-punching southpaw and you turn right-handed. Ray said he gave me those first 3 rounds because the southpaw was the problem. Orthodox wasn't a problem. And I always remembered that, like you're a southpaw and you switch to right hand, no. But if a right-hander can effectively switch to southpaw, you can make that work for you.
That's a fascinating input. Talking to switch it in, in fact, I'll come back to it. Could you give me a prediction? What do you think will happen in this fight?
I think the one thing that I would bet that my house on, as the same that in every other fight that Derek Chisora has, you're going to be in a fan-friendly fight. There's no way this is a bad fight, regardless of who wins or loses. I'm with Chisora. I'm not going to predict that Joe Joyce is going to win. I saw Salas when I came in, and I said, "Hey, Salas, how are you?" I said, "Hey, who are you working with?" He says, "Joe Joyce." I said, "Oh, again, I'm opposite corner." Oh, Chisora. Very cool about it. It's going to just be a great fight, and one that we'll remember like all of Derek Chisora's fights.
Indeed. So I said to him earlier, I actually said, I want to first question, it wasn't even a question, it was a statement. I said, I want to thank you for the memories from,
very
and I don't know if you picked up on it, but it was a genuine thank you from not just for what he's done in the ring, even the entertainment outside the ring, because it's all part of the game.
Yeah, of course it is. I know some of the things probably he's done have been a little bit crazy, but absolutely, yeah. But you know what? Absolutely good for the game. And again, the living proof to all fighters, it's not if you win or lose, it's how you fight that keeps you getting back the big paychecks and keeps you relative in the sport of boxing.
Indeed, it definitely does, Russ. I want to ask you, I spoke to Alexander yesterday. We had quite a detailed chat about his win over TYSON and some of the past stuff. And one of the things that I find quite fascinating, I went through a boxer's characteristics from speed, power, boxing IQ, footwork. He told me, and I told him to compare all the British fighters he's fought. But Anthony Joshua wasn't any of them. He didn't rate Joshua's footwork, speed, power, boxing IQ. Tyson Fury was the guy that he repeatedly said was the hardest fight and the guy the best boxing IQ. Power, he said Chisora. Speed, he said Tony Bellew. And footwork, he said Tony Bellew as well. Easiest fight, Joe Joyce. Hardest fight, Tyson Fury. What do you make of that?
What I make of this is, if we talk about Chisora, and I think this is where it's relative, Chisora gave Usyk a hell of a run. Think about this. He gave him such a big run that it established AJ as a huge favorite. They thought, wow, if Chisora could do this, this should be, Anthony's going to do even greater against him. And I think it just goes to show that despite losing to Alexander Usyk, despite the losses that Chisora has suffered, he takes you to places you don't expect to go and makes you fight. He makes you fight. And he made Usyk fight, a hard fight. It was a physically demanding fight where Usyk had to do everything he could to win that fight. And it shows just how tough and how the grit that Derek Chisora has. And I think that speaks volumes going into this fight as well. If Joe Joyce wins, which he could win. If he wins, he's going to go to places he's never been before to have to win. And Derek Chisora is going to take him there.
Let's come back. So Usyk also said to me with regards to his tactics in the fight against Tyson Fury. We saw in the build-up, he kept saying, "I won't leave you alone. Don't be afraid." And his tactics in the fight were he was on the front foot from the first bell. He wouldn't leave him alone. And he said to me yesterday, Tyson for the second fight, also, I won't leave you alone. I will never leave you alone. Don't be afraid. I will never leave you alone. So he's basically just giving his tactics away. What kind of madness is that?
I don't know if it's madness, but I am intrigued by something, Umar, and I'm going to now be the interviewer because I've got to ask you this because it confuses me because I've heard so many British pundits use that word on the front foot and on the back foot. I'm assuming you mean on the front foot means you're going forward, right? Okay. So as a trainer, when you say on the front foot, for me, that's where the weight is. And when the weight is on the front foot, it means you're going backwards. And when you're on the back foot, it means you're going forward.
It's like
So
we sometimes
it's
say a backhand.
yeah, backhand. I know, because you obviously don't know the difference between left and right, right? It's yeah. So yeah, but to me, a backhand is that's a backhand, right? So yeah, I thought that terminology is just crazy. Oh, he's on the back foot.
Well, aggressive tactics. He was like on his chest, like he was kind of forcing him to work, and he's kind of
was
said
aggressive.
he said he's going to do that again.
Yeah.
And is that like is it a good idea to tell Tyson what he's going to do in the second fight?
Why you don't think he could figure it out by himself? Like, listen, let me ask you something. In the fight, did either guy fight differently than you expected them to?
I don't know. I think the build-up. A lot of people thought Usyk might be the guy who kind of tries to counterpunch him.
Yeah, but even which he did. He did counterpunch him. But he counterpunched him by putting pressure on him. Name me a fight where Usyk has not put pressure on his opponent.
Chisora.
That's about it. And you're talking about a guy who there's no way he ever takes a step back, right? So you have to handle what you got. So besides that, nobody. You know, he's the one putting the pressure on. Even when he's not doing anything, he's doing something. And I think Fury did what we expected him to do. He's not a guy who's going to come forward, you know, and be the bully. He's never been. He's been actually a really gifted boxer. You know, he's for his size, for the behemoth size that he is, the agility that Fury has is unbelievable. I don't think we've ever seen somebody that big with that kind of agility. You know, in certainly in recent years, you know, we haven't seen that. The Klitschko's didn't have that agility that Tyson has. So I mean, to me, they both fought as I expected them to fight, and I don't think there could be a difference. Fury might come out the next time thinking, okay, now I've got to be able. He might want to fight like he did in 5, 6, and 7. You know, you're going to stand there and try to exchange bombs and throw shots. He might try that, you know, but we saw him do that, so it's not going to be a surprise. So I don't think it's a surprise from either guy.
The last thing you mentioned Fury, I want to ask you about Fury. Obviously, this hasn't come from Tyson's team, but people around the boxing circles have been pinpointing, saying that too many voices in his corner, too many people giving instructions. Have you seen that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So what do you make of that? Did you see that because you was in the opposite corner on the night, and also from your own experience, how do you guys run your corner?
No, I didn't see it on the night because obviously I'm focused on my guy in the corner, and that's all I'm worried about. I'm not worried about what's going on in the other corner. We only saw that afterwards. That's for them to figure out on what they want. You know, like there's been corners that have been mad chaos and fighters still win, and there's other corners where they've been perfectly professional and the fighter ends up losing. It happens, you know. I'm sure it can't be healthy to be getting, you know, everybody yelling in your ear different things and the chief second loses control of the corner. That's probably not very good. It doesn't happen in the Usyk corner. It doesn't happen in most corners I work with where we're all over the place. So, look, I'm just going to work the way I work, and we're going to work our corner the way we work. And, you know, that's what we're going to do with our fighter.
Indeed, Russ, it's always a pleasure speaking to you. I think I'll catch you up soon. Good luck Saturday night, and may the best man win.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate you. You always ask good questions, buddy. You always ask good questions. Right.